The reason why they lost to Optic last week, it was the inconsistency out of the AR, just getting beat to the punch. And versus Boston, who I think is one of the more consistent teams that we're going to have in the league, you're going to have to show that, especially Skies, because this is a guy who I think if he's going off, you're going to stand a pretty good chance at winning.
Nasty, nice opening over the top of P1. Holds G2 back just a touch, but holding out of the P2 side of the map. And overcooked, or nades kind of exploding against each other inside the hard point. Has Nasty by himself, trying to force the engagement. Turned aside, and G2 comfortable. 15 seconds left in the hill.
Yeah, full map control in their favor. You already see they're starting to pick up the long lanes just in case Boston start to think ahead about that rotation over towards New, but they said no one's hitting a route. Let's just bully our way back to the old time.
When it comes to the respawn, and so far everything looking pretty perfect. Skies picking things up now on 7 in a row as Krep finds the double from the front of the hard point. Cammy, the last one standing, has to kind of try to finesse his life. Not going to happen, and a purposeful spawn flip now occurs as G2 forces Boston to spawn behind, where Estriel almost able to get onto 5 of his own, but finally a favorable kill feed for Boston as they'll get some of the scrap time.
For the new HP, so it's all going to fall into the hands of Mamba. How much more can he take? Only's able to take down one, but now the teammates are here to assist for the fight.
Very familiar start here for Boston, though. After we watched them play this in the opening weekend, the SMGs, a pretty insignificant start. But we saw in that second set, that's when Snoopy started to heat up. Purge is able to follow behind that. And as the game gets down to about 10 seconds worth of time, we still have 40 to fight for here at P4. Snoopy in some trouble, but still manages to find one. Momentary contest in for Estriel, looking for the double. Able to provide it, but Boston with the proximal spawns back into time.
Let's go to listen with Boston.
That's right. One shot, bro. He fell down.
Playing to the right, like
Everybody relax.
Go to the right, yeah?
Nothing side,
right. Yeah, they're gonna be there, so you
That's on you.
Nice, I fit 3 left. I fit 3 left.
They're gonna spawn out, bro.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, on new Estriel, weak as fuck, this too, okay? Estriel.
One shot back. Take your time.
On you, two on you, I'm leaning back, I'm leaning back right. Krem weak, side door, push side door. I'm one shot, guys. He's in front of me. Slow down. Come with you, okay? Look. I don't see Mars side. He's pushed up our crate. Right on crate. I got it. Nice shit.
Well, rotationally, Boston been a little bit behind the 8 ball, but finding some momentum there. Back half of P2 and now finding success rotating over to the sub here at the 3rd.
To make a play here, you have to work with this Hellstorm. Skies over the top is able to connect on at least one player. You're finding the break for now, but now you're surrounded because Boston still have those back spawns. Estriel has got a tough job in front of him, but he's just stalling time.
Snoopy not going to call in his Hellstorm yet. Estriel able to find Purge. Nasty didn't even volunteer to try to come in with that bait and switch or even just the double slide shell. So as Mamba clears off mid-hole, G2's going to actually get the close spawns. Holy cow. Nasty has to essentially play his life out, but G2 spawning all over him. They find the kill, but from the front. Boston able to break. Big moment here in this game as we head up to the last part of P4, and Boston will find a couple before Estriel turns up, finds 2 of his own, and that'll be another opportunity for G2 to build a lead as Estriel's not done yet.
Nades fest, stun fest, everyone trying to connect with some tact usage before you try to entrance your way into the top mid. Nasty finds the opening, Boston trying to hold.
Purge laying down on the opposite side of the entryway. Krep is able to find the kill. Almost able to go up and over onto Snoopy, but it will be Boston with all 4 down. And how about the SMGs for Boston? As mentioned, first 3 hard points, they were down, but never out. Now back to essentially even stat lines and beyond that. Snoopy! Little turn and burn for 2. And off to the races, looking for more onto rotation to P2.
Instantly flipped them out, and now Snoopy's got to invest the Hellstorm.
Purge and Cammy sprinting across the map. They find one. Can you get more done here? No. G2. Did they win the last gunfight in the back? No, not quite. Hellstorm not going to land for anything, even not really influencing the hard point whatsoever there. So Purge has to kind of play tacit for now, wait for help as it starts to amount over the middle of the map. Snoopy able to kind of combine with this HMG duo, and now we take our focus into the hill. G2 spawning all the way out. It's a 3v3 on the hard point. Sky's able to find the first, but not anything more. Snoopy, no! Cammy finishes the final. One last player in Krem, trying to go 1v2, but can't confirm the kill. But Estriel's able to keep Boston in or around the hard point. They can't quite zone out the front as of yet, but the time is starting to amass at great measure here for Boston. But 2 eliminations make it 3 now for G2. They're gonna get a full 4-man wipe on the next break attempt.
It's a race to New.
We got 2 players for Boston already pushing Estriel back. You see the lock on the minimap bottom left-hand side. Boston will have just one player in the mix, but Estriel off the regen's able to find that win. Now the alarm bells are ringing to the Rook. Mamba on the outside. Oh, huge transfer for the double. Not quite able to get the third, but Skies is there to pick up the trade, and G2 can reclaim the lead.
Back spawn secured. All of your focus is on the front. SMGs have to create extra layers, and Kremp is already doing a good job of doing so. Lines up a double. Lead change in favor of G2. One more hold. One more wave of kills in this map. One is theirs.
And keep your eye on Mamba. Trying to play to the middle of the map. He's already won the first. Kremp holds off the play for mid, and now Mamba can just keep Boston back. Nasty may be able to set up one more attempt, but Kremp finds the opportunity to push forward. Shut down quickly. Boston have to go. They need to contest, and they need to win the gunfights, and so far they're doing both. Estriel still on a spree. Not able to get 7 in a row, and Boston will get a break. Do you play for the win here if you're G2, or do you play for rotation? You look at the minimap, and yep, they're going to make their way into P1. Kremp over the top only finds one, and Boston have to sprint.
Wait a minute, but they find 2 kills, make it 3. It's a 1v1 and toward the time. Purge the last man standing. Don't want to contest Mamba, just value your life.
But Kremp able to find one. Mamba a second. You got to stay in the hard point if you're Boston. Contest there for a moment. Nasty for one. Oh! Mamba can't get the win. 245 to 248. A moment of breath here for G2 to get back together. Kremp finds one. Estriel with the team kill. Leaves it just down to Snoop. Oh! He's able to find 2, but not the third. G2 sneak away the map at the very last second in the face of what was nearly a Snoopy pop-off.
The tone setters of the map, but they also had Skies, who was unbelievable with the sniper in hand. You saw when he's uncomfortable early into rounds and doesn't have that 2 life advantage anymore. Now he has to whip out a different gun. Strategies completely changed for the G2, so that's something that you're gonna have to think about going forward, at least early into this game.
Purge gonna get up and close towards kitchen. Oh, and Skies will be seen. Hi, how are you? Oh, doing fine, says Skies. That's unexcusable. So Purge gets put 6 feet under. Boston trying to force something at A, but they've been ratted, and Kremp's able to find his second kill of the round.
Yeah, now 4v2, locate where Snoopy is, instantly find that trade, and now it's Nasty left in a 1v3.
But Skies is still working this angle, and it looks like Mamba's gonna follow up on that safety.
Purge this time, though, is able to find the first one all the way across the map. Kremp instantly strikes for not just 1, but 2 through the middle of the map.
Mamba gets the info plus some tags and says, nope, I know he's got a scope. Don't want to chow that. But there's still the mystery of where is Purge? And G2 say, we don't really care. We're just going to stack up at Laundry and make you come to us.
Yeah, information. Onto Purge on the pinch. Kremp knocked down to half HP, but time is still ticking. Player on the pinch is going to be here, but I don't know if you're going to read the re-pinch through mid-pillars.
Yeah, this has just been keep away right now. Just don't force a gunfight. I don't know who gets credit for that last kill, but G2 just throwing shoulders and saying, come and get us.
And Boston now need a response.
Yeah, 4 in a row for Kremp heading into round number 3. And how about this setup for G2? Pushing forward, a little bounce off the mid-zig wall, though. We'll have Kami saying, whoa, we're in some trouble here. But Kremp will still find one before being traded. Purge through water steps, goes uncovered. That'll lead to an early 3v2 here for Boston, but the bomb is not rotating over to Purge as of yet. And keep your eye on not just this battle, which Mamba wins, but look at where Skies has gotten to. He's all the way in garage and can completely baffle this Boston setup. Can Mamba get any sort of a cue? Yep, absolutely perfect. Kami will drop. Snoopy looking for the trade. Pops up and oh my goodness.
A trusted setup right there with Skies to just camp over towards B. Works out to perfection. Purge just can't take a risk like that.
Nades coming over the top over towards Skies. That driveway does tag him up, but look at the quick play from Minnesota through pillars. Estriel for one, car bomb for another, and G2 are looking flawless here on raid search.
Already up 4-0. Boston have to now take a risk. You find the first blood if you're Nasty. You instantly get the bomb down today. This should be Boston at least tallying 1 on the board. Okay. Good job out of Boston.
It's going to be Boston actually showing some aggression through pool. And Estriel seems to have an idea about this. Just comes down to the timing. Sees Snoopy on the cross. Nice snap. Can't finish the kill. Kremp try to follow up. Will at least keep it 3v3. Kremp frontside Laundry. Ooh, tough battle, but he's got Skies there for support. Trying to follow. But Mamba able to keep Kremp alive. So now down to Nasty. More manageable here for the 1v2. But the problem is he's got a pistol and a scope, and he's stuck, and red and G2 absolutely pushing tempo.
You have a couple first bloods to go with it, but It's been G2 at the ending of these rounds with the clutch G.
Oh, and how about Kremp feeling it? Trying to push through the smoke. Stun keeps him in place for a moment. Tough gunfight still to lock things down for one. And up and over for more. Long range to Cammy. And that's just going to be a matter of time before he falls. What a map from G2. Getting into an overload, which, let's be honest, like watching this mode over the course of the debut weekend, we clearly have some teams who figured out kind of the early identities and principles of what leads to success, whereas others are struggling and look a little lost on decision making. I wouldn't necessarily say that either of these two teams look lost as of now, but you got to keep in mind that Minnesota's coming off of a pretty bad loss to Optic on Den. First look though for both these two teams on Scar, and we're kicking things off with G2 getting some mid-map control.
Yeah, they have a lot of mid-map control. Can Kremp get anything done on this pinch? Already finds the opening.
And Boston just need to get the objective and start pushing forward, but they cannot quite get the help they need. But Snoop is still undercover in the back line, looking for 7 in a row. He may be out of ammunition.
Yeah, he's got to be at this point. Only 36 left in the Dravik. He's still alive on 6-0. That's going to be the first score going in for the breach. It was two players doing the same exact thing. It's just Snoopy was doing a little bit better. Dude. Now he can continue to dominate. Already earns himself the Hellstorm. Map control in favor of Boston. They flipped the spawns on its head. You know it's going to be playing. We can score again.
Yeah, did Minnesota wake up here? I mean, the break, it ended a little bit ago. And oh my goodness, this is absolute murder. Is making his way all the way around the back. Snoopy looking for it. Has help on the rooftops. Mamba finally able to get something with the more normal approach. Looking for a second. This would be good to get the confidence back. But in the meantime, stepping away from that opportunity, Boston will cap, find the easy score, and they're up 3-0 in a very poor half. If you can get one off of this, it'd be great. Snoopy long range, good shots, and you're gonna get Kremp trying to force it in, and somehow he scores. Okay, we reset. Purge for the first blood in the second half. Snoopy gonna wait for the reach, and it is still in with the gun Estriel. A little bit late to the party on that fight, but Nade will hold him off. It'll spew some greenery from the ATM machine in the corner, but the green and the kill feed is better, and Boston can just sprint this thing forward. Nades over the top will have nasty hit, but not enough to fall. 4-1 the count for Boston. 1:12 on the clock, down 3. You need to score here, and they will. Okay, hold on a second. G2 just came out so flat. I mean, again, outside of one member for the squad, it was like 0-8, 2-9. Like, it was just not a good start for G2. They just could not make up the deficit. Well, let's take a look. We give the cinematic fly through once again here on Scar. That'll be G2 spawning on the left-hand side. Boston in the green, looking to get some early rotation pressure onto Motel. Purge going to be outnumbered and outmanned on that play, though, and that's going to lead to an opportunity for G2 to try to neutralize what's happening inside the hard point early.
Oh, yeah, and Kremp's just being a nuisance on the pins. This is your job if you are Cammy to not allow him to slip by, but just allowing him to break you down like that leads to a break here for G2, not from the preferred side.
But Boston looking good on the scrap and in a good spot to get a read on how G2 is going to try to rotate over to new. ARs in hand for both Snoopy and Cammy finding the opening kills. Mamba will be made aware of in front of the hard point, but better start for him. 3-1 off the reset. Good shots. The Purge can't quite finish, for the pinch from Kremp is better, and G2 well should have numbers, but Purge is still finessing underneath the balconies. It's going to be a significant Boston start, but the rotation win here to new will go the way of Minnesota.
Yeah, keep in mind, no trophy system yet to be in play, so use your attacks to try to get him off of the Godhead, but you can also set it up with the gunny on the pinch. You are surrounded if you are Kremp. Last man standing is going to be Skies. Spawns now flip, and Boston can blow this game wide open now.
Now down to P4, and they could, again, like you mentioned, just blow the lid off this map.
Yeah, but they do have one player who is going to spawn all the way across the map, so Cammy's got to get into the play very, very quickly. At least find one off the pinch through mid. And Mamba's trying to do it on the opposite side, but they all get shut down. Pressure now over towards half wall. Snoopy is reading it towards the back side. You're forcing all of G2 to try to break through middle, and this is not easy, but they find 2.
Yeah, big 2, but again, you can see the work from Nasty, just blocking spawns for now. Eventually shut down by Mamba, and the hunt will start to ensue for Purge. Hanging out inside the hard point, trying to stay safe, pops up, but shut down. Candy from the front door, though, finds 2. Pistol! Oh! The beatdown on the Mamba gets him 3. Sky's still trying to force it for Minnesota, and he does well to catch 2. Minnesota quick off the proximal respawn from the front, trying to finish this break attempt. Kremp by himself gets shut down and Boston will hold. High ground control also going the way of the breach. Trying to work on that though is Minnesota, playing from just largely inside the hill. Whoa, way up and over off a trampoline with Snoopy, trying to set up Cammy for a double, not fully gonna work out. And Mamba understands the value of him playing inside of blue. Easy first, transitions to Nasty, good shots. That double keeps the hard point neutral. A weird spawn for Nasty will actually have Astral turning tail and being shut down. Boston finding every single kill, and Kremp can really only do so much from here.
Wow.
Pinch gets shut down, so Boston can play from one side as G2 sets up from the front.
Astral needs to get something done on this pinch, but he is going to get spotted without getting anything. Cammy takes care of him, and now you're looking at the same exact setup that they had previously. Top control, bottom control. You got to hit a stunner grenade to find an opening because the ARs and the cover fire is too strong.
And Boston looking to just cruise their way to a map 5 affair.
Yeah, they just don't really have any opportunities to develop on routes at that P2. That's basically 120 seconds to none.
And the breach will find their break with 15 to play.
Now, Mamba, if you need to have one very big moment, this is it. Unfortunately, you choose the wrong corner, and Nasty's able to sniff you all out. Boston only needs 20 seconds to close out the game. One more push. Middle of the map, Kremp is able to find one. Astro finds one. So at least they're in the top for now. And two players from Boston are going to spawn out. So G2 can still make a miracle.
Yeah, Mamba keeps one of the lanes safe, reads the cross and the parallel spawns on the other side of the map. So G2 can hang. They'll get out of the 100-point club. But this would be historic, to put it plainly, if they were to do this. Snoopy just trying to be a distraction. The rest of Boston trying to form with him, and here comes the hit together. That is just perfect synergy for the SMGs. But as Purge is shut down, Snoopy bails, and Minnesota can get some more numbers here to try to hold on to this hard point for a little bit longer. Yeah, but Cammy will spawn close, so he can try to help out Nasty just a touch, and with him, Purge will also spawn as a new hard point opens up. Snoopy would be on the pinch. Cuts off one. Astral inside the hard point. There's the contest. Another follow-up, and that's going to be the go call to chow it out. No worries there for Boston. And really no worries in the map, what, maybe outside that last hardpoint we just had. This has been as comfortable as we've seen on Scar Hardpoint. Yeah,
this is way too easy. Only need another 5 seconds to force this game. Number 5, yeah, let's just peek a little bit to pat that stat line. But 250 to 145 on the score HP. Potentially the reverse sweep on the horizon for the breach. But the first bloods was a big part to why G2 dominated that game. It was only, what, it was like 6 to 1.
Sure.
Yeah, it was dominant. So if they can find that same success, so yeah, G2 might be able to close this one out.
By the setup, looks like G2 is going to elect to try to play retake if this ends up being A, unless Skyskin hits the first blood and catches one through the window.
Oh, he might be able to line up a couple more, because you're thinking, all right, the sniper's probably going to think about the repositioning, but gets information. There's still going to be players on this site just trying to slide in to get the bomb carrier, but Cammy with the cover fire, 40 seconds, 3v3.
So now we got the 3v3 retake now on the way. This was an election given by G2 that they wanted to play for retake, essentially. So how do you have this set up? There's the double shell coming through. Sibby finds the first. Astral for the trade, but bounced back. Nasty watching over the top. Cammy with a sub in hand, just finessing, wiggling, wagging, trying to keep Astral at arm's reach, and finds the final kill to get Boston the first. This is going to be hard for G2 to clear out at the moment, though. They cannot just go for the plant with all these members. For Boston at Dojo, Astral calls the nade out. Kremp follows for his trade and gets a second, but Nasty hits the shot. So now it has to be on Disguise. But how do you hit this flank with a scope? Cammy, I believe, has seen it, a couple of tags, and yeah, Skies is in some trouble. And it looks like Boston were considering trying to isolate him, but will allow him to leave. Mamba feeling the pressure. Good backup. Now he's got help. Sky's on the cross.
Wow.
Both will find kills. And what a response from G2.
30 seconds to go. So eventually someone has to work the objective. And if you're G2, you're thinking they should already have been doing it. Astro unfortunately falls in the hands of Snoopy. Now it's Skies left in a 1v3. Does he have the sniper in hand? Because if he dies, he's not going to have it anymore.
Yep. And they're just going straight gas, no brakes towards A. Boston, we're more gambling on something through mid and B, are going to be here late. Nades littering this P4 position. Mamba, maybe the last one to have a nade cooked up. Damage out, Astral following. And he's got the Dravik up close to personal, but he also is the bomb carrier, so you got to be careful here. Lots of damage, almost able to combine for a handful. Kremp trying to get the trade, but will miss his window.
With 40 seconds to go, just going to hit the rotation. Not going to waste any more time, just Waiting on them for them to throw shoulders and potentially to shut us down. So now it's the reset game, the mindset game. Potentially force them to rotate and get it back over towards A.
Yeah, this is G2 just killing noise to create doubt. No doubt here though for Boston, but COD timing just turns at the very wrong moment. So it's gonna be a plant unless Nasty tries to shell this early. A couple of tags are in, but can't find the kill. It's gonna wait, doesn't maybe know that the second member is playing a little bit deeper. Misses a shot, just barely on disguise. Now back to the rifle, has Crimp over the heady, but cannot lock down the shots. G2 continue to keep us in a back and forth affair.
Does Snoopy have a back pocket smoke to work with? Estriel is just gonna pounce his way through the middle of the map with Skies for that first blood. And now only 45 seconds to go. You know the play's developing at B. You just want to value your life, but you give one to Cammy 3v3.
And kind of shoes on the other foot situation, but I believe Snoopy was seen exiting. So Minnesota will not doubt their setup. And actually, how about the aggression from Crimp? Does he catch one? Oh no, he gets caught trying to follow behind what he thought was an A rotation. So now numbers for Boston. Skies over the top, may be able to neutralize this to a 2v2. What shots are those from Nasty? Astral for the immediate trade. Nade cooked up, does it land? It does, but the flak jacket.
35 seconds to go. They're gonna run right into the gunfires up Estriel, and thankfully the team shots hit a little bit different there for Boston.
Here we go, G2 back on the attack. Looking for maybe something a bit more aggressive here at B based on how they're breaking things off. You got Cramp just watching for info, but how about this push through from Snoopy? Just throws a complete curveball. Cammy there to follow up, and the first 2 kills go to Boston.
You just don't have to be aware of a sniper. So let's just start to take some risks. You're 4v2 them on one side of the map. Now you have the numbers and you have the information that the bomb is going to be down. And if you're Purge, now let's just watch the flank, because there's no way we should lose this round.
Yeah, don't isolate yourself into 2 different 2s. Nasty will find the first. Stun confirms that Skies is still here at Dojo, and Nasty is on an unrippable heady.
So Purge is trying to get lost through the middle of the map, playing over towards B.
This is the big moment. Cramp undercover by staircase, gets one, does get traded. Follow up from Purge. He's trying to force it. Has Skies in front of him, but it leads to a back and forth affair until Astriel turns this to a 1v2. But Nasty's got the intel that he's got the space to plant. And we're going to reset with Mamba and Estriel holding hands back through Dojo, but Nasty's going to try to take away the angle. Here comes the play forward. No, doesn't quite catch Estriel off guard, and G2 respond to keep up the win 1. All 4 members through mid. Couple watching over the top, but it's Purge and Snoopy that are going to be playing off the little jump at the mid pillar. Yeah, to get info on this B bomb. That stun check comes through, they get the info that they want, and now it's just down to all of them flooding into Dojo, but nades are cooked. This could be explosive as they get traded back and forth. And there it is! It's just popcorn city all over the place. Boston with the advantage, but Mamba with the vacancy to plant.
And now you just gotta stall all time. You know they're all coming from Dojo, knocked down to 26 HP, and you stand no chance. No information of anyone being the aggressors up through mid or through B site. With 55 seconds to go, yeah, this is where we said Purge right at the middle of the map. Snoopy and him combined for the first blood.
Oh, just a little shaky on their setup right now. Cramp would have to do something special. And he's gonna get stunned. Smoke comes through, just trying to finesse the doorway. Boston not interested in challenging through it. Cramp trying to force the issue. Not gonna work out. Nasty with the shutdown. Estriel, now the last man standing, has found the first and would have to be a 1v4. Purge, shots are good. Hold on a second, up and over. He may have a chance to isolate him once more, but no. The follower from Boston is too good, and the reverse sweep is secured. Boston with a huge statement in our opening sets of weekends, and G2 cannot believe it.
Yeah, I would be completely stunned too if I was G2, man, because a 3-point hard point followed up by a dominant search and destroy. You're thinking we should be able to close this one out with ease. We took all the momentum away from them with the quickness, but Boston, after the break, come a little bit different in overload. Snoopy